My mom protected my thief sister and tried to send me to military school. This happened when I was 14, about a year before my parents got divorced. My younger sister had a habit of blowing through money like it was nothing on food courts, video games, and clothes from Hot Topic. My parents gave us both allowance, but while I had to earn mine by cleaning and doing yard work, my sister didn't have to lift a finger unless my dad was standing right there. My mom never pushed her to do anything except keep her room semi-clean. That was it. To earn extra money, I mowed neighbors' lawns, collected soda cans from the street to cash in for 5 cents each, and did odd jobs around the neighborhood. I was saving for a scooter to get around town. After 2 years of grinding and saving almost every dollar I earned, I had saved around $2,000. But it wasn't easy, mainly because of my sister. She knew all my hiding spots and stole from me constantly. It usually went like this. "Hey, did you take my money again?" No, she'd lied poorly every time she got caught. "I'm missing $100. Get away from me, I didn't do anything." Then she'd cry and run to mom. She'd say, "Mom, he's being mean to me," and mom would snap her fingers at me like I was a dog. "Shut it. Can't you see my baby's upset?" She said she didn't take it. That's the end of it. "Keep going and I'll punish you." I know she took it. "If I don't get it back, I'm telling Dad." "There's no need for that," Mom said. "And you don't have proof." "Yes, I do. I track every dollar. 3 days ago I had $4,000, now I have $3,900. That's a $100 difference. And she's done it before. You know she has. Her allowance ran out, and yesterday you took her shopping. Where'd she get the money?" Mom paused, frowned, then snapped, "You're grounded. Go to your room or I'll get the belt." I could have argued, but I knew better. In that house, there was a time to speak and a time to call Dad. I walked to my room without a word, slammed the door, pulled out my Nokia, and called him at work. He didn't answer, so I left a voicemail explaining everything. About an hour later, he called back and said he'd handle it. Not long after, I heard our landline ring and Mom shouting into the phone. I couldn't hear every word, but I caught pieces of it. She was trying to defend herself, but when she was clearly in the wrong, it never worked with Dad. Eventually, she screamed something like, "Fine. If she did take it, you'll get your precious money back, but it's already spent." Then she stormed into my room, yelling, "I can't believe you snitched on me. After all I do for you. Couldn't let a little thing go? So you do admit she took the money?" Mom scoffed. "So what? Girls need more money than boys. You should have just given it to her. It was a small amount. She stole $100. Even if it was $1, it's still theft. You wouldn't want someone stealing from your purse, would you? That's different." "No, it's not. She's wrong and you know it. I want my money back. I earned it. She didn't. My baby doesn't have to earn anything. She's a princess and deserves to be treated like one. Then keep her away from me and my stuff." "You little." She lunged like she was going to hit me, but I stood up and looked her in the eye. At 14, I was already her height and stronger thanks to working outdoors. "Try it. I didn't do anything wrong, and you know it." She froze, then swiped at my dresser and smashed her hand. She clutched it and glared at me, then stormed off, screaming and slamming walls as she stomped down the stairs. I heard her open the wine fridge. That was her go-to reaction, get drunk and ignore everything. My sister peeked out of her room, looking freaked out, then slammed her door shut. Mom had always been her shield. But that day, things changed. A few minutes later, Dad came home from work and called my sister into my room. He made her admit that she took the money. I wasn't getting punished. She was. She refused to even look at me while apologizing. At first, she mumbled so quietly it was almost comical, until Dad told her to speak louder, twice. The second time, she practically screamed the apology. Then Dad handed me a $100 bill to replace the money she stole. He told me she'd be grounded for a week, and that the missing money would be taken out of her next allowance. That set her off. She started bawling and yelling at Dad before running to her room. Meanwhile, Mom sat outside in the backyard, sipping her wine and pretending none of it was happening. She never apologized to me. She acted like it was all just normal. And even after all that, when the next allowance rolled around, my sister still got her full amount just from Mom instead of Dad. No lesson learned. A few days later, on one of Dad's days off, we went to the local store and he bought me a personal safe for my money and anything else valuable. We didn't tell Mom or my sister. The safe had a 4-digit code, and if I remember right, I set it to 4,962. I locked everything inside and shoved the safe to the back of my closet. Weeks went by. One day, I came home after mowing lawns and found my room completely trashed. Stuff thrown everywhere. I called Mom and told her what happened. Her response? "My baby would never do that." "Then did you do it?" "No." "Well, no one else was home." So who was it? She got irritated and snapped, fine. If she did do it, maybe it's because you've been so mean to her. I called Dad again and left a voicemail explaining what happened. Then I went to my sister's room and told her I knew she trashed my stuff. Before she could say anything, I added that she'd never get her hands on my money again, it was locked in the safe. She lost it. Screaming, stomping, crying, the whole show. And right on cue, Mom came charging in like an angry bear. I didn't even fight her on it. I just calmly said the same thing, my money was safe now. Then I went back to my room to clean. Nothing was broken. Nothing stolen. But everything was scattered everywhere. I cleaned it up, locked the safe again, and thought that was the end of it. The next day, I came home and found the window in my room shattered. She had thrown the safe out the window. I immediately called Dad. When both parents got home later, my sister proudly admitted she'd done it. Mom actually tried to defend her. You shouldn't have bought that safe in the first place. Dad snapped. I bought the safe. Because I'm tired of her stealing from him and you doing nothing. Every time she stole, Dad had to replace the money. Mom never did. That day, they replaced my window. Dad installed a lock on my bedroom door and even mounted a wall safe outside my room to store the key. My sister was grounded for a month for destroying the window. While Dad was home, she stayed locked in her room. But as soon as he left for work, Mom let her do whatever she wanted, video games, TV, no rules. I didn't rat them out. I knew if I did, they'd just make my life worse. When her month was over, she started begging me to loan her money anytime she blew through her allowance. I always said no. Once, I even wrote up an IOU just for fun, to see if she'd sign it. Of course, she ripped it in half and ran crying to Mom. That was the pattern. She cried. Mom came storming in. What did he do now? She asked to borrow money, and I said she had to sign an IOU. Mom scowled. Why would you do that? She just wanted a little help. Would you sign an IOU for me if I asked for money? Mom rolled her eyes. She doesn't need to sign anything. Just give it to her. Not without a signature. She raised her hand like she was going to hit me, but stopped. Then she muttered, "You're just like your father. Everything has to be written down with you. I can't stand it." I walked up to my room, thinking, good. I'd rather be like Dad than like you or her. You've never done a single good thing for anyone, I said as I walked away. What did you just say to me? She snapped. She followed me up the stairs, just as I reached my door and locked it. She wasn't used to that. Dad had only just put the lock in. So when she tried to slam it open like usual, she hit it hard and fell backwards, screaming in pain. She'd slammed herself into solid wood. Her lips swelled up, and she had a bruise on her forehead. When I opened the door, she was on the floor, pounding the ground with her fists. "You set me up," she screamed. "You ran into the door. You're grounded. Get out of my sight." I called Dad. He sighed into the phone and told me I wasn't grounded, but said we'd still need to have a talk because I was poking the bear a bit too hard. That night I got a lecture, a couple extra chores, and a slightly reduced allowance. But from that point on, whenever my sister asked for money, I handed her a pen and a blank IOU. She hated it. Update: my mom tried to send me to military school and faked my dad's signature. After the door incident, Mom backed off physically. I think she finally realized if she laid a hand on me, things might not end well for her. She stuck to screaming. At least until years later when she tried to come from my house, but that's another story. At the time, I focused on school and odd jobs. My 15th birthday was coming up, and as a surprise, Dad got me a motor for my bike. He said I should start saving for a car instead of a scooter, but the electric bike would help in the meantime. It made sense, so I agreed and kept saving. A few days later, I was mowing the backyard and saw something weird under the patio table where Mom usually sat with her wine. It was a brochure for a military school. My stomach sank. It was addressed to her. I didn't open it, I just waited until Dad got home and handed it to him. He didn't jump to conclusions. He took the brochure straight to Mom and asked her about it. "Sweetheart, what is this?" "I don't know, never seen it before." "Really? Because it says you were preparing to enroll my name in military school. You know I'd never agree to that." She dropped the innocent act immediately. "He needs discipline. He locks himself in his room. I can't spank him anymore, he's too big. What else am I supposed to do with a disobedient little brat? He's not a brat. He hasn't done anything wrong. If anything, our daughter's the problem and you let her steal from him without consequences." He ended it right there. "If you ever try to enroll him behind my back, I swear, there will be consequences." Mom exploded. "This whole family is just trying to strip me of the little power I have left. What's the point of being a mother if no one listens to me? Stop being dramatic. He's growing up. He earns his own money." She stormed off. Next morning, before school, I saw her furiously stuffing something into the kitchen trash. I waited until she left and fished it out. It was the actual enrollment form, completely filled out, in her handwriting. The application required signatures from both parents. Hers was there. And so was a second one, a pathetic attempt at forging Dad's. Dad's signature was always complicated, on purpose. Mom didn't even come close. I showed it to him later. He was pissed, but decided to let it go. He figured she'd already given up on the plan. Still, he kept the papers in his office. A few months passed, and things finally exploded for real. Turns out, Mom had been cheating on Dad with some high school ex-boyfriend. That was the last straw. He filed for divorce. After a few months, Dad moved into a new house, and I moved in with him. The divorce moved fast after he submitted the forged military school documents to court. It wasn't even the first time. He also had proof she forged his signature on a credit card application and some other document I don't remember. In the end, Mom got to keep the house because Dad didn't want it. But she demanded child support and alimony since my sister, of course, chose to stay with her. The judge awarded her the bare minimum. Just enough to cover my sister's allowance. That drove Mom nuts. She kept threatening to sue Dad for more, but he held the forgery threats over her head for years. She never followed through. On the day I moved out, my sister stuck her tongue out at me and said, "Mom says I'm the real princess of the house. That's why you're the one leaving." I didn't even respond. Just shook my head and walked out the door, finally feeling free. She visited Dad's house once a week at first. But it didn't last. Things between us got worse until eventually we stopped speaking altogether. Mom barely tried to keep in touch. She turned my old room into some weird home office. I wasn't mad. I just didn't care anymore. That's the whole story. I know a lot of these family stories end with everyone siding with the golden child while the problem kid gets tossed aside. But for once, someone had my back, my dad. If it wasn't for him, I don't know where I'd be. Let me know what you think. And if you've ever had to deal with a princess sibling who could do no wrong, yeah, I feel you.